The phase one, it is planning. The planning phase is a collaborative effort involving both managers and the employee, during which they will review the employee's job description to determine it. It reflects the work that the employee is currently doing. If the employee has taken on new responsibilities or the job has changed significantly, the job description should be updated by the manager or supervisor for further performance review. And review the links between the employee's job description and their work plan and the organization goals, objectives, and the strategic plan. And the next is develop a work plan that outlines the tasks or deliverables to be completed, expected results, and the measures or standards that will be used to evaluate the performance. Identify 3 to 5 areas that will be key performance objectives for the year. The choice of areas may be determined the organizational strategic plan by the employees' desire to improve the outcomes in a certain part of their job, or by a need to emphasize a particular aspect of the job at this time. So here, based on the objectives, it is critical to the overall success of the position, but you have to consider the employees and their objectives. Then the overall performance will be evaluated. Either it may be satisfactory or unsatisfactory. Identify training objectives so that it will definitely help the employee's growth or his skills, knowledge, or competency related to their work. And identify career development objectives so that it can be a part of long-term career planning. So both the employee and the manager need to sign off on the proposed work assessment plan. So these are all important aspects in planning. And in planning, the objective setting is very important. So for objective setting, we generally use the SMART. It is a specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and timely. What is specific? Specify clearly what is to be done, when is to be done, who is to accomplish it, and how much is to be accomplished. It's called specific. You should be very specific for all these things: what, when, who, how. Second one is measurable. So for measuring, we simply ask some questions like how much, how many, how will I know. So multiple measures should be used if possible, like a quantity, quality, time frame, and cost. Third one is attainable. Assure there is a reasonable path to achievement and a feasible odds that you will get there is attainable or actionable. Next one is the realistic. The objective needs should match the level of the complexity with the employee's experience and capability, and no instrumental forces outside the control of the employee should hinder its accomplishment. So whatever we have, it should be very realistic, and then it is not in dreams, it is in reality. The last one is timely. So be clear about the time frame, because when we complete the task or the time frame in which performance objectives are to be achieved. In most cases, objectives are to be completed by the end of the performance review period. This is the first phase called the plan or planning phase. The next stage is monitor. For a performance system to be more effective, the employee progress and employee must be continuously monitored. Monitoring day-to-day performance doesn't mean watching over every aspect of how employees carry out their work, and how managers should not micromanage employees, but rather focus their attention on results achieved, as well as individuals' behavior and team dynamics affecting the work environment. So during this place, generally the employees and managers should meet regularly to assess their objectives, performance objectives, identify the barriers, if any, or they can share the feedback on progress relative to the objectives or goals. They can next they identify any changes required to the work plan as a result of a shift in organizational priorities, and to determine extra support is required or assistance to the employees in achieving the objectives. So in this manner, the manager and the employees they collaboratively work, and as a manager or as a leader you have to monitor everywhere, and continuously you update them, and you coach them for achieving a good results. The coaching employees to address concern and issues related to performance, so that there is a positive contribution to the organization, and the coaching provides direction, guidance, and support as required, and assigned activities and tasks. As a coach, the managers need to recognize strengths and weaknesses of the employees, and based on that we can work uh, about their strengths and weaknesses, and you have to improve them their skills, like listening skills and practicing new skills on the part of the coach. Together with this, the ability to deliver honest feedback are crucial for performance review, and we more focusing on the feedback in monitoring. Positive feedback always involves in telling something good about performance, and make them to give constructive feedback, so it alerts an individual to an area in which performance could be improved. And the main purpose of constructive feedback is to help people understand where they stand in relation to expected productive job or working behavior or workplace behavior. So for this, we have some points to consider when giving constructive feedback. The first one is prepare. So you prepare you know, what do you want to address the meeting, confirm the facts of the performance issues, and be clear about what the issue is, and about consequences, and plan to meet, and be calm so that you can approach the discussion objectively with clarity, and state the facts, and you listen the details, or you can learn or listen the situations of each and every employee about their performance. It will be good for both the employees and the leaders, so we can easily sympathize with an employee's unique personal circumstances and the reasons for why they are not performing. So agree on an action plan, and you can follow up. So these are all the parts in monitoring. And then phase 3 is next phase is the review. In review, the performance assessment or appraisal meeting is an opportunity, and it summarizes and highlights the employee performance over the course of the period. So here we can take the self-assessment is a standard part of most performance appraisals. This process can identify the gaps between the employee self-perception and the views of managers, and may allow for more in-depth discussions of these performance points during the meeting. So managers should review their performance management notes and documentation uh, generated throughout the year, or sometimes it may be for 6 months, in order to more effectively assess the employee performance. So there's a manager, you have to ensure deal with performance problems when they arise, and that there are no surprises during the performance assessment meeting. So summarize the work accomplished during the previous year related to the goals, and you document challenges encountered during the year, and identify and discuss any unforeseen barriers to the achievement of the objectives. So these are all very crucial. Once the review is completed, and then we can go for the reward management. In reward system, we know very well those who are performing well, and those who are uh, achieving the objectives throughout the performing period. So they will be rewarded. Either it may be financial reward or a non-financial reward, that depends on the organization policy. So these are all very important stages in performance management. Competency based system. So what are the core competencies? So recruitment, selection and classification, focus on performance and developing, need of agency, training and development, succession planning, career workforce planning, and performance management. These are all we know the competencies. So whenever we prepare a competency based system, we have to consider all the basic core competencies, and you set a goal that to develop a performance management system that provide a systems approach to employee development and succession planning. So here every organization, they have to give priority for employee development. For example, if you take Infosys, IBM, even if you take the smaller companies in today's world, they are giving more priority for the development of their employees. Even if it is if they are having a small projects also, they can offer good salary and a good platform to their employees for successful completion of their particular life, and they have given an opportunity for succession planning, and they support the employees in achieving their position goals and developmental needs. So identifying developmental need is a crucial part of today's employees, because everybody they sustain and they want to protect their job due to the pandemic situation today, and due to the COVID, so many people they are lost the job, and here you have to achieve as an employee, you have to achieve your goal with the position. So definitely if you have a development need, so definitely you will be having a good results, and the organization will encourage you only with your competencies. If you have a good competencies, so that definitely you will be in the box, and you can do it wonders with your existing knowledge, and align and cascade individual goals with the organizational performance measures. So we know very well individuals, they have their own goals, and organization they set some measures. So you have to align your goals with performance measure. Definitely it will give a good performance for your company. So reward system processes. What are the reward systems we have? The first one is a business strategy and the reward strategy. We know very well business strategy is for improving the business, reward strategy is for improving the performance of the individuals in the organization. So these two are treated as the total rewards, and the reward system has been into two parts, that is financial reward and non-financial reward. So in financial rewards, we have consider only the pay. So we can determine a good pay. Based on that, the people can motivate our base pay management, contingent pay, employee benefits. So these are all come under your financial rewards. So directly you can benefit with monetary benefits, whereas in non-financial reward we don't have a direct money benefit, or you don't have any pay system. Here they simply give a recognition or a certification, or they can appreciate you. These are all come under the recognition, and then they can change the job design. They can arrange new working environments, or they can give you the more responsibilities. It may be created by the design of the job and opportunity to do, and they will give you an opportunity to develop. You will be allowed for attending different types of programs conducted by other industries, or every industry or government or foreign government. So they will be allowed you to go and then upgrade your knowledge. It may be one of the benefit. It is an opportunity for develop yourself, and then they can create a good environment, an AC provided to you, a car, a bungalow, everything they provide in terms of the non-financial benefit. So these are all come under non-financial, and then these are all come under your financial parts. Why use an online or electronic performance management system? So today, the majority of the companies, they follow the e-performance management system. So we know very well, because it has so many advantages for creating no bias environment, and then transparency, and then you can easily monitor, and then everything is fine, and then we can update immediately. So these are the reasons for we are going for online performance management system. So what are the considerations here? The first one, the better quality data. So the data is immediate, and data redundancy has been reduced, and every data is treated as a quality data. That is the reason we go with online, and we can easily streamline the process. Everything which comes through a process, here there is no people involvement. It means that nobody can influence the performance management process. So definitely we will get a good data, and we can through a particular process we can get all the performance management feedbacks, and you can encourage year-round performance management. So we can periodically take the reviews, and we can get the feedbacks from your employees, so that in every some organization they can take only for once a year. Some organization they can take twice a year. That depends on the company, and here the most of the companies they check online, and every time they have to give the rankings to their employees about their performance management, and then sometimes they give perks to their employees if they done well or extraordinary. And generation Y expect everything to be online. So these people are very collaborative, and then they have a self-efficacy and a self-concept they developed. Due to these reasons, they are very familiar with the new technologies, and they learn these technologies, and they want to a part of that particular technology, and they make them to come the same technology for their company also. They're always focusing on the new technologies, and they give these details to their manager, or else the technical head or a data administrator, about to upgrade the technology, and they are participating in that, and they can monitor themselves as well as they can monitor the subordinates also. So here these generation Y people, they are always focusing positive towards the organization, and they learn themselves to plan for their own success of themselves as well as for the organization. The next one is HR challenges. So what are the challenges of performance management system? The first one is wrong design. Second one is absence of integration. Third one is lack of leadership commitment, ignoring the change management. Ignoring change management in system implementation, and incompetence. So here we have different types of HR challenges. The first one is wrong design. In wrong design, the performance management system and the tools must fit with the specific needs of the organization. It cannot be a duplication of system designed and implemented in another organization. So here the intense consultation with the various stakeholders and the users of the system is necessary, and the system should be fair and equitable. Performance management should be viewed as a continuous process. So the design should also include mechanisms for rewarding performance and handling poor performers. That is the first challenge, HR challenge for performance management system. And second one is the absence of integration. So the performance management system has to be integrated with the other systems like strategic planning, human resource management system, so organizational culture, the structure. So these are all are having different organization systems and processes. So we need to integrate all these systems with performance management system. It will be a challenge for a HR manager. The third one is a lack of leadership commitment. So performance, getting performance is not a simple task. The leader has to drive the processes and make performance management an integral part of the management of the company. So leaders, they have contributed not only in setting the strategic direction and the performance measure, but also in monitoring and reviewing the performance across the organization is very important for the leadership commitment. If the leaders are committed, good, and it should be a very good sign for the organization, and we can get a good performance, and then we can easily monitor and we can review the performance management system every time. And the fourth one is ignoring change management in system implementation. So in this particular part, the strategic management of change is a vital part of implementing the system, driven by the top management. It involves careful management of resistance. Communication is very key important aspect in change management. And if you want to implement these new systems in your organization, so the milestones and schedules must be followed, and the proper documents must be in the place. And the last one is the incompetence. So competence to use the performance management system is necessary to ensure smooth implementation of the system. So if it is incomplete, it may be a barrier for organization, because it has involved with the strategic objectives, performance indicators, and then the competencies of employees. So you have to identify the key performance indicators in your organization, and then you require a proper coach for developing the competencies among the organization and the employees. So these are all very important aspects for the HR, and these are the general challenges faced by HR in performance management system. So, for example, if you take any of organization, for example, if you take Infosys, while they are introducing the performance management system, they have taken different types of models from UK and other countries, and they developed a model to encourage the people, and they are giving priority for section planning and career advancement schemes for their employees. So it really encourages the other people in the organization. So whenever we implement a performance management system, you have to consider the employees' growth. So definitely it reaches whatever you expect from your employees. So thank you very much for kind listening.